Ladies and gentlemen, a very, very big welcome to ICT201 Systems Development Lifecycle and Project Management. Today, I'm going to be talking about a couple of chapters and we're going to go and discuss them in further details once we go and talk about the webinar later in the week on Thursday. The first one I want to talk about is the the consultation, the team teaching. There's consultation available between 11 and 11:30 on Thursday if you are in my class, and between 3 and 3:30 if you are in Dr. Ali's class. So these are contact details. If you ever need to make contact, just please touch base. As I always say, we are very dedicated to helping you. So you just need to touch base and then we'll be able to be ready to help you immediately. Something that is very important, I keep on repeating that because it is very, very important. What I would say about that, it's just basically more about you need to make sure you are actually not copying anything from the internet, even if you acknowledge this, even if you put the references, but you're copying all of this content from the internet, that is considered to be plagiarism. So do not have any academic misconduct. Last semester, many people got zeros on their assignment, many got penalties, and probably about 40 people out of 110 were added to the register of people who committed academic misconduct. So if that issue then gets repeated, the penalty starts becoming even more serious. So do not do that, because we do look at similarity and the reason for the similarity. We do look at that very, very closely. It's very, very important that you guys bear that in mind. What is the webinar's learning objective? And the webinar is what I'm going to be covering on Thursday. But we're going to describe in the webinar the 5 project management process groups, the typical level of activity for each and the interactions among them. We're going to relate the project management process group to the project management knowledge areas. They are very highly interrelated. And we're going to review a case study of an organization applying the project management process groups to manage an IT project. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are 5 process groups I need you to make sure you know about very quickly. Initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and then closing. Initiating is about starting the project, understanding why we're doing it, business case, and so on. Planning is after I understand what I need to go and deliver, I need to go and plan how am I going to actually be delivering any particular outcome. Executing is about really implementing that plan, just going and putting it into practice. Monitoring and controlling is about while I'm implementing the plan, okay, things might go wrong, things might go really well. I need to monitor. And if things don't go according to plan, I need to go and make sure I am controlling what is actually happening at that particular point of time. And finally, it is about closing. So once everything basically gets finished, we have to go and close a project and move on to the next job. So initiation, helps to settle the vision. What are we trying to go and achieve? Okay, once we know what are we trying to achieve, this is really the point where we go and we get the project to be formally authorized by someone who have a big stake in that project, someone who is what we call a project sponsor. We start understanding what is the initial scope of what we're trying to go and deliver. We start understanding who are the stakeholders who basically have a stake in that project, are affected by, or are going to go and potentially complete the work. So who are those stakeholders? We start thinking about them, talking more about them. We create a number of documents which you must go and create for your assignment. We create a project charter. We create a stakeholder register. And I'll show you some examples a bit later today through some readings you need to go and be doing a bit later. We talk about planning. Once we know what are we trying to go and do, we have to plan to go and deliver. What is planning? Iterative and more detailed planning process. So we go and start planning and making improvement and making some changes. We start having clear project documents, okay? We start creating detailed documents about how are we going to be able to go and get things done. Documents are related to scope. It's basically what we are and are not doing? What should we be doing to get the job done, and what should we not be doing to get the job done? What is in scope? What is out of scope? Document that lists detailed requirements. What does the client want in details? Don't tell me they want a software. Tell me exactly what sort of software do they want, and we'll work through that accordingly. Documents that provide estimates for various costs and various time. Documents that provide a schedule. Documents that plan for quality, communications, and risk and procurement. There's all of these things about planning. We have to plan all of these things. Plan quality, plan communication, plan the risk management, plan the procurement, plan the understanding of the requirements. It's all of these planning. Plan how we're going to implement what is in scope, and so on. And the key documents here, we create a project management plan, we create a schedule, and we create a risk register. What are the risks that could inhibit our progress within the organization? Executing is about starting to do the job. What's the basically point of creating the best plan if we are not actually going to be implementing it? What I always say, a good plan implemented today is better than a perfect plan implemented tomorrow. Today is a day, because if you implement a perfect plan tomorrow, you would have already lost a day. Start today. What can you do today? A good plan implemented today is better than a great plan tomorrow. Let's start today getting the job done. Executing is about the project manager coordinating the resources, seeing what has been done, monitoring what has been done. The project manager managing all of this communication, communicate with the stakeholders, communicate with the project team, communicate with the government departments, communicate with whoever is a person or a government or an organization that has a stake in that particular project. He needs to engage with all of their stakeholders. And I always say, you build a relationship with all of those people before you even need that relationship. So you start early. What do they need? Let me deliver what they want early. Let me give them what they want early. That's really the key things to go and bear in mind. The key documents here, well, there's none, but there's only about keeping on getting the various updates about how is everything progressing. Monitoring and controlling. While the process groups occur sequentially, monitoring and controlling occurs throughout the project. We must always monitor what we're doing. We must always look if something is not going according to plan. And we must always take the actions to go and actually control the direction. If things are not going according to plan, great, perfect. Why aren't they going according to plan? And if they're not going according to plan, perfect. What am I going to do about it? That's really where we start talking about really ensuring we are going to be achieving progress within the organization. Where you compare in monitoring and controlling, I compare my plan. What have I achieved? Comparing to the actual achievement. What I plan to achieve, comparing to what I have actually achieved. I might have achieved much more than what I plan to achieve, or I might have achieved much less than what I plan to achieve. Let's measure the variance. If there's something wrong, not going according to plan, perfect. Let me go and take corrective actions to be able to ensure we are going to go and get the job done. So we must make all of that comparison and ensuring we can get the outcomes to be delivered. Key documents, again, none. Only we keep on having updates happening throughout the delivery of the project. And finally, we need to close the project. We have went, we have used the resources, we have done whatever needed to be done. That's excellent. What happens after? What happens after is we need to go and close the project. We finish, we got the job done, we did what is expected to go and be done. That's great. Let me go and actually close the whole project at that particular point of time. Let me go and sign off and get acceptance from the client. I did what they requested, right? Let me go and ensure they are happy with what I've done. Let them go and sign to say things were done accordingly. Let me go and make sure they are happy to allow me to go and close my project and move on to my next project. A lot of time, people don't pay a lot of attention. I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to go and put the thumbs up on the screen if you like what I basically say. If you like the party, so if you are a person who like to party, put me the thumbs up on the screen now. We have many people that said they like to party. Some said they don't like to party. Now I'm going to ask you a second question. For those who like to party, how many of you like to go and clean after the party? Give me the thumbs up if you like to clean after the party. We can see that many like to party and many don't like to clean after the party. Some want to clean a week after the party, and that's fine also. But the bottom line is project management is the same thing, okay? Project management, delivering a project is like delivering a party. Everybody like to be involved. Everybody like to go and get things done because people like to go and party in general. However, when it comes to go and move away from partying and say, let's go and actually do the cleaning, what's going to happen is a lot of time people no longer like to go and actually get involved. What is the cleaning in project management? What is the cleaning? Well, the cleaning basically is simply about creating the documentation that are required for the project, finalizing all of these documentation, giving the documentation to the client, making sure the client is straight to go and use the system before you move on to the next project. That's what a lot of people not as much want to be involved with as basically partying, which is going and delivering the project. But best practices does tell us that attention must be applied to the rest of the project, you know, as much as you basically applied for every other stage. You know, in initiation, you have a lot of attention. In planning, you have a lot of attention. In executing, you have a lot of attention. Closing must also have a lot of attention. That is the best practice. Don't say, oh, we don't like to clean after the party. Say, let's get the job done correctly. Because what if you don't transfer the project correctly to your client? Well, they can't use the system. If they can't use the system, things won't go according to plan. The project manager should formally close the project by archiving records, holding a lessons learned session. What mistakes have we done? And how could we actually go and prevent all of these mistakes from really happening? It's all about the details. Close the project by archiving the records. Let's put them, it's old stuff. Let's say, for example, we find something we could learn and we should not repeat in the future. Well, what can I do? I can systemize it in a certain manner that other people are going to be able to go and access them in the same way that we are accessing that information. Let's celebrate success. You know, the worst thing is going and getting the job done and forgetting there is a team behind you that is actually ensuring everything is actually being done. You want to make sure that the team is celebrating what has been done. Success is being delivered. Success is being supported. Because if this does not actually go and occur, you're going to get people being very dissatisfied that they are not actually getting the support that they should be getting at a point of time. So they won't be involving with a new project in the future. Once you celebrate, you make sure everyone is happy, You make sure all the job has been done. You close the project and you release the team so that this team is now able to go and start working on another project that is as good and as exciting and as important as the project that they were working on at this stage. These are the process groups: initiation, planning, executing, monitoring, controlling, and closing. And on the other side, these are all the knowledge areas relating to project management and to the project management body of knowledge: integration management, scope, time, cost, quality, HR, communication, risk, procurement, and stakeholder management. For every one of those knowledge areas, we have to look, is there any task that needs to be done at any of the process groups? For integration, there are some tasks in initiation. For integration, there are some tasks in planning, some tasks in executing, some tasks in monitoring, controlling, and some tasks in closing. For the project scope management, the same thing. In planning, there are some tasks, and in controlling and monitoring, there are some tasks. For cost management, in planning, some tasks, and controlling some tasks. So you need to make sure what knowledge area are we talking about and what tasks are we expected to do to be able to meet that knowledge area at a particular point of the project. So if you are initiating the project, for example, you know that you need to do this and you need to do this. Identify stakeholders, develop a charter. You know, if we're talking about planning, you're going to have to develop a plan, scope management, collect requirements, define scope, and so on. A list is very long, but it's about really understanding the matching between the knowledge areas and the process groups and how they basically correspond together to tasks that we need to go and get done to get the project completed. Now we need to talk about the documents. So what do we produce? We need, for example, to produce a project charter. What is a project charter? Well, I'm going to show you some samples. You're going to read about some samples because you need to do them for your assignment. But a project charter is a statement of scope, objectives, and people who are participating in a project. We need to know who's doing what. What are the roles? What are the responsibilities of those participants? Outline the objectives and goals of the project. What are we trying to do? Identify the main stakeholders in my project. Who are they? Who has a stake in my project? Or who is going to be affected by my project? Define the authority of the project manager. What is he going to do? Is he going to go and tell everybody what to do? Or is he going to go and be working alongside the functional manager who is going to be telling everybody what to do? There is clearly a difference to go and bear in mind. This is an example of a project charter. You include things such as problem statements, goal statements, scope, business case and benefits, timeline, and team members. You have a problem, and that problem needs to be solved. And to solve that problem, it's about your goal you want to achieve. Why do you want to solve that problem? To achieve something. To be able to solve that problem and achieve something, you have a scope. Something you're going to do, and sometimes you're not going to be doing. Why are you doing it? There's a business case. Why is the project worth doing? Why is it important? What are the consequences of not doing it? How does it fit with the business initiative and targets? All of this really goes and relates to ensuring that the job is basically being done according to the requirements. All of this, a lot of it relates to ensuring we are working on things that are strategically important for our project. Great. We know it's important. What is the timeline for every single phase? Timelines, plan versus actual. That's something to bear in mind later. Who are the team members? How much of their time are they going to be assigning to be able to go and work on my project? This is a lot of the things that you could potentially go and include in a project charter. My beautiful students, any questions at all?
I've got a question, sir.
Tell me.
Yeah, Project Charter, when is it made? Is it in the initiating stage, or is it in the execution stage? Or
An initiation stage. It's at the beginning of the project.
you know how it says the problem statement as well? So at the beginning of the project, how is anyone supposed to know the problems
Because
that?
usually you would know what issue you have so that you are actually trying to solve it. Someone will come into you and say, I am having this problem that, for example, I'm talking from experience. We had a problem that the jobs that the clients were posting on our website were actually not being achieved and delivered immediately. Some of them were delivered in 6 hours, 12 hours. The clients were basically getting very upset from our delays. So what happened as a result? We knew this is a problem. We knew we were basically losing a lot of clients. We basically went and understood why we're doing it. What's the business case? What's the benefit? What's in, what's out? What are we trying to go and achieve? Because we want to go and solve that particular problem. So usually there's a problem. There's something you would like to go and achieve. That is really your problem statement.
Okay, okay, got it. Thanks.
Make sense?
Yep, thank you.
Any other questions, guys? Alrighty. Now, the second chapter, it's about integration management. You know, in the webinar, we're going to talk about a lot of things related to integration management. We're going to describe an overall framework for project integration management as it relates to the project management knowledge areas and the product life cycle. We're going to explain the importance of creating a charter to formally start the project. We're going to describe the project management plan development and understand the content of these plans. We're going to explain project execution, its relationship to project planning, the factors related to successful results, and the tools and techniques to assist in directing and managing a project. Describe the process of monitoring and controlling. Define the integrated change management process. Explain the importance of developing and following good procedures when closing the project. And we're going to describe how the software can assist in project integration management. Now, what is integration management? It has a number of processes. If I go back, integration management, you can see all of these processes. Develop a charter, develop a plan, direct project work, monitor and control the work, perform integrated change control, and close the phase. So you go and see here, this is really what we're talking about. Developing the charter, developing the plan, directing, managing the work, monitoring and controlling the work, performing integrated change control, and closing the project. So a lot of times, guys, we use software. You know, many type of software are available, and they will help me to integrate the various components. I can see the budget, how it's linked to the schedule, how it's linked to stakeholders. You can see all of these things in one centralized place. But you don't need to have one integrated system. You might have various things you use. Documents can be created with a word processing software. Presentations, well, let me go and use PowerPoint. Tracking, let me go and use a spreadsheet or a database. A communication, let me go and use emails, for example. Project management software, however, could pull everything together into one single combined approach to go and making sure we are presenting all of the required information. Now, there are so many available project management software. Monday.com, Recall, Smartsheet, Microsoft Project, Project Manager, Clarizen, Zoho. There are so many of them. And it is not the purpose of today to be able to go through every single one of them. It is for you to be aware that there are so many tools available out there that people are actually able to go and really use and get access to. Now, today there's a task. We're going to refer to the JWD project document loaded under week 1 and create a project charter for the group assessment. So if I was to go to the system, I'll be able to see that if you go to the website, you can see it now. You can see that I've loaded for you and assessment. I'm going to do the first task, which is I just opened that assessment for you. I want you to go and do the same thing, and I want you to start reading that assessment details. There's task 1, task 2, that I need you to go and have a read through them. Maybe read between pages 1 and 3. And from there, I'll be able to tell you about the next thing. So download that document, start reading that document first, and then we'll be able to go and talk about the next thing I would like you to go and do. Everybody clear on what they need to do? All right, guys, so the next thing I want you to do now is I want you to go to the main page. And I want you to go to if you go to week, it's under week 1, I have a document here called JWD. I want you to click on that JWD document. And I want you to go and have a look at, start reading the document. You don't need to read all of it, but just scroll through it until you go and see the structure of the project charter. So I want you to read the project charter. It's on page 8. I want you to read this structure on page 8. And what I also want you to do, I want you to go back to the charter I showed you here on slide 13. I want you to use these to be able to start working on creating a charter. So what I want to do is I'm going to put you in a couple of groups now, breakout rooms, and I want you to be working with your team to be able to go and create that project charter. So maybe I want one person per group to be sharing their screen. Your colleagues could tell you what to put in that structure. To know what you put in that structure, you can rely on this section here that I showed you in JWD case, or you can rely on the information we showed you in the lecture, the sample of a project charter. Does everybody understand what I want him to do? So you've read your assignment. You need to create a project charter that resembles potentially this structure here, or resembles the other structure that I covered in the lecture today. I will give you 10 minutes for that. I want people to be actually writing things. So don't go and not write. Don't go and say, yeah, we're gonna talk about it, but not write anything. I wanna see from each group, one person in charge of writing what is basically happening. So please make sure you do that. I'm gonna create 2 groups only, around 7 people per group to be able to work on that task. So I'm gonna open now a breakout room, and you'll need to go and accept joining that breakout room. Now, before I put you in the breakout rooms, anybody have any questions about what I've just said they need to do? All right, I'm gonna open the breakout rooms now, guys. Please start working on this task for the next 10 minutes. All right, guys, I just wanna go back and finish on what we're doing. First thing I wanna say, you must come to your webinar this week, because we will be assigning you to a project to work with, to a project team to work with. We need to know who is the leader and who is not the leader. And you need to go and implement tasks every single week. You do not come, you won't know the tasks, you won't know how to apply them. Even people who came to my class today, some of them were not listening to what I'm saying, and they couldn't basically understand what needs to be done. So even when you're in a lectorial, in this subject especially, you need to be very, very focused to ensure you can answer the questions. Now, what I said today, I told you refer to JWD project document loaded under week 1. Where is this? Well, this is available on the system. If you go and see, that is what you guys will see. You will see a screen like that. You will go down and you'll see JWD project. This project document is the foundation for your assignment. You need that. What else do you need? You need to go and read your assessment 1 briefing document. What do you then need to do? Well, if you go and open this JWD project,
Yes.
you'll be able to go and find in that document many information like the project charter example. All of this information needs to be changed to match what we are asking you to do for your assignment. Now, you want to know what's for your assignment? It's very simple. Go and look at your assignment. Go and read what is in the assignment. And then you'll be able to start looking at the information. If you don't come every week and apply your project management tools that we're going to give you, you won't be able to do well, not in the first assignment and not in the second assignment, because this subject is all about applying what we're teaching you. So simply, what I want from you today is I want you to go and start reading the JWD case, which will give you the foundation of what needs to be done. Come to your class on Thursday, where you will be assigned to a group, and then you need to start working with your group to be able to finish all the work, including the project charter, the scope statement, the plan, the budget, the scope register, stakeholder register. All of these you need to work as a group to be able to go and really create. But you cannot do them if you don't come, if you don't focus, and if you don't read the documents that I'm telling you. So please read this document as soon as possible. Any questions? All right, guys, for this week, read chapters 3 and 4, finalize your group, and start working on assessment 1, which is due in week 7. No delays. There's a lot of work to be done. And if you don't actually come every week and do your work on a regular basis, you won't do well in this assignment. I'm telling you up front about this. Go over the videos loaded on Moodle. And also, I'm going to add one thing. Please read the JWD case. Now, guys, I care about your success. I want you to do well. But this will require a lot of hard work and regular work on this subject. Please come, please attend, and remember that I appreciate your work, and I want to say thank you very kindly for your time and for all your effort. Have a great day, guys. Thank you very much.